Welcome to the Ruden Report Zoomcast. I thought it'd be appropriate since the CIAC announced today that there's going to be a delay and all winter sports right now are scheduled to start on January 19th. That maybe it would be good to get a little bit of feedback from a couple of my favorite basketball coaches about what this means, especially since I know they've been getting prepared for practices they thought would start in a couple of weeks. So kind enough to take a little bit of time or two of my very favorite coaches, and that's John Dailey from Fairfield, Ludlowe, and Danny Melzer from New Canaan. Guys, how you doing? First of all, have you been? I've texted a lot with both of you, but haven't seen you. So you guys been safe and doing okay?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Dave. Danny, always a pleasure seeing your face for the first time in a while. We talk quite a bit, but nice
Yeah,
to
we're
see
not
your
going to
face.
talk about the mustache right now.
Yep. Yeah. I'm doing well. Handling what's going on the best that we can. Just teaching and still trying to coach the best we can here in this preseason, if you will, and trying to stay safe as well. My wife and I are expecting our first child in March, so we're being a little extra cautious. Yeah, thanks so much.
That's great.
Yeah, everything's good on my end. We're healthy. We're doing the best that we can given the circumstances. So, we're taking it one day at a time, but so far so good.
All right, just first, before we even talk about the news that came down today, what have you guys been doing just in terms of what you normally would be doing now to get ready for a start of the season? And if this was a normal year, practices would be starting up in a couple of weeks. So has it so far been normal what you would be doing, or even with this pandemic now, have you been limited in what you normally would be doing a couple of weeks before practices officially begin?
So, we've played in 2 fall leagues that have gone really well. We've avoided any, for the most part, we avoided any quarantines or COVID issues till very recently. But, our preseason preparation has been pretty similar to years past. The major difference is our weightlifting has all taken, our strength and conditioning piece has all taken place outside. So that's been a major difference this year, but it's been, kids have adjusted to that very well. They've taken to it very, very nicely. So it's been a great program, and a little different that it's outside, a little less weight training, a little more functional training, but the kids have done a great job with it.
Yeah, ours has looked a lot different, Dave, to be honest. We usually get the guys inside in other gyms working on skill work with a couple of different coaches, obviously outside of our staff, and that hasn't been able to happen with the pandemic. Our weight room is closed right now, and it has been for the last couple of months, so we haven't been able to get inside like Danny mentioned. So we've revved up the conditioning the last couple of weeks outside, and we've asked our guys to play outside as well when they can together, kind of relying on our captains to lead in that regard. And we've also played in a fall league, which has been great. But yeah, for me, we usually have a really involved, intense preseason, and it just hasn't been the same this year. It's got a way different vibe to it, and but we're doing the best we can.
Okay, news comes down today. We go from December 5th start to January 19th, so a 6-week gap here. When you first heard the news, what were your reactions? Were you caught off guard? Did you expect this? What was the first reaction?
I'll speak to this first. I was relieved, to be honest, because every day for the last month and a half, it's been a different rumor. And Danny and I think, have texted every day for the last 2 months and asking each other, hey, have you heard anything new? And one day you get your hopes up, and the next day you have your dreams crushed. And so it's just mentally, it's been exhausting. And I think that now, even though it's a postponement, we can hit pause here for a month and a half and sort of get our ducks in a row, because I mean, let's be honest, we're in the middle of a national crisis, a national pandemic, and I think the decision was a 100% the right one to make. And we've got to figure out this virus before we can start playing high school basketball.
Yeah, kind of just to piggyback off what John said, it's kind of been a roller coaster of emotions with the ups and downs and what we may be allowed to do, what we may not be allowed to do, when we're going to start, if we're going to start. So, I'm thankful that today finally gave us some clarity, and I think tomorrow's meeting with the CIAC and the ADs may provide even more clarity. So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of that. But it was definitely a surprise. Everything I had heard, including articles that we saw last night, led us to believe that we were going to be able to begin practice at the very minimum on December 5th. And so I wasn't anticipating this at all. And I really was looking forward to getting started December 5th, even if it was just in a practice setting, because I know I'm excited to get into the gym with the kids. And I know more importantly, the kids are really excited to get back to the gym. So I'm hopeful that we can do that, January 19th, and we can do it safely, obviously. So we're just kind of, as John said, we're hitting pause, but we're at the same time, we're going to make sure that when January 19th comes, we're going to be ready to go.
Yeah, hasn't been too much initial feedback on social media, which actually is probably a good thing after living through, at least from a sports writer's standpoint, all the irrationality that broke out at the beginning of the fall, and particularly the back and forth with football. At least now everything's defined, so we don't have to go on a roller coaster ride. And I'm sure from your guys' standpoint, you now have a baseline where to start. So just in terms of what you can do to start getting your teams ready, or anything you can do, what happens now for you guys between now and January 19th? Do you just sort of guide your players to make sure they're working out on their own? Is there something else you're able to do?
Yeah, I think we're going to get more clarity on that tomorrow after the ADs speak with the CIAC. But a lot of what the kids have been doing on their own has been outside, and now that the weather's starting to turn a little bit and get a little colder, it's really going to depend on what gyms they can get into and what access they have to gyms. So, hopefully our kids are going to, I know a good group of my kids are going to do whatever they can to make sure that they're still playing basketball and still working on their game. And if we're allowed to condition, I can tell you this, whatever we're allowed to do, whatever the CIAC says we can do, we will do. So, I think we'll get more clarity on that tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, we really are. When I meant hit pause, we're really going to hit pause here. We're not allowed to condition. I found that out today. Anything sports related at Ludlowe is on hold right now, including outdoor conditioning. So that's a little disappointing. But yeah, and like Danny said, the kids are going to have to rely on each other and stay in shape and play. And gym access here in Fairfield is very limited, but hopefully the weather holds out for a couple more weeks and they can keep playing outside. But I told them today, I said, you guys got to stay ready. And after the first of the year, hopefully we'll get back after it.
Is it one of those things you're able to do what spring coaches did before they knew that their seasons had ended, where you can let your kid try to have Zoom meetings, I guess, to kind of keep the teams together and just offer some sort of guidance on any training that they're able to do by themselves at their houses?
Yeah, I mean, we did that last spring after the season was over, to kind of just get a feel for what might be headed our way for the summer and when we can get back in the weight room. But now, yeah, anything I could do from an X's and O's standpoint, an execution standpoint, maybe talk to some of our guys about what we want to implement with our offense via Zoom and online, then we're going to do it to try and, fast track once we get, if we can get going January 19th, the less we got to do from a preparation standpoint on the floor in the gym. We're going to try and take care of over the phone or over computer, whatever it may be. And I think also trying to keep these guys, together is really, really important right now, because, I don't want to say I'm afraid to lose them, but we've been waiting and waiting, and we've been postponed once, and we've been postponed again. And we've got to keep basketball relevant in their mind, and on the forefront, so that they're not, sort of, especially my seniors, 1 foot out the door thinking about college come next semester, and oh wow, we got to play basketball, and our first game won't be till maybe February, right? So I think keeping them together, weekly Zoom meetings, things like that, is really, really important.
Yeah, I think, again, I've said this a few times, but once we find out what we're allowed to do, and I think we'll find that out tomorrow, I hope, we'll certainly do everything that we can. I know this, in my situation, our seniors are extremely eager to get started. So I know that they'll do everything that they can in their power to be ready, and whatever we're allowed to do, we'll do as well. So I think a very important piece to this, and I'm sure John agrees, I'm sure you agree too, Dave, is to try to remain optimistic and remain positive, and just instead of glasses half empty, kind of glasses half full. And yeah, we wish we were starting earlier, but they didn't cancel the season altogether. So we're going to look forward to that January 19th date and prepare as best we can for that day.
I'm guessing you probably, both of you, haven't had a chance to really think about this, but they haven't set up an end date yet, assuming you get the starting date. I'm guessing the season will probably be somewhere around 2 months, approximately that length. What do you think it's going to be similar to what fall coaches had to go through, and that you get your teams as ready as you can during practice before you start playing games, and then it's going to be a little rusty for the beginning, and teams just get better as the season goes on?
Yeah, I think that's the goal, right? I mean, this is a unique year unlike any other. And so I think, we do the best we can to get these guys ready. And we do the best we can if we start January 19th and our first game is, let's say, February 1st, to get these guys back in shape, first and foremost, and an understanding of our goals and what we want to accomplish, and how we want to execute on the floor. And then, it's going to be game by game, trial by fire, right? And go out there, play, see what happens, learn from it, win or lose, get better, and move on to the next one. I think that it will probably be a shortened season in some capacity. I mean, especially if they're going to try and play football, at the end of February. It's going to be a pretty quick season. Maybe we play 10 to 12 games. I don't really know, in a regionalized schedule like they did in the fall. But whatever it is, I'm confident our guys will be ready, and we'll take it one game at a time and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that they're going to do their best to give us as close to a full season as possible. If that means a little overlap between basketball and football, or the winter sports season and football, that may be something that the CIC has to figure out. But I'm optimistic that they're going to find a way to allow us to have a full regular season, or pretty close to that, and state tournament, and an opportunity for the kids to have some closure. So that's where I'm at. Obviously, I'm not the one making the decisions, but that's kind of what I'm hoping for and preparing for. So that's kind of where we're at today. And I think, as it's been all year, it's going to be fluid. We're going to be finding out new information, maybe daily, maybe weekly, but we'll be finding out as we go along. And I think the most important part is transparency, and just trying to be as open with our kids as possible, and so that they're not left out in the dark.
I know one of the questions I've been getting, just in terms of getting ready for basketball season, is just playing basketball with masks on. Obviously, it's not an ideal situation at all, and everybody's just talking sort of about the breathing, that kind of thing. I mean, the part to me that I would think could be the biggest issue is, somebody's driving down the lane, fouled, and a mask comes flying off. I mean, have you thought that far in advance, in terms of, are they going to have to maybe do something different with basketball, just maybe to secure masks on a little bit better? I'm sure that you're going to need some additional masks. I've already read about that, just to have on hand. How do you think the whole dynamic just with mask wearing in basketball is going to play out?
I actually, it's been going on already. I know AAU's been playing basketball in masks. I think some of the prep schools up north have been doing it. So, we all know playing in mask is not ideal, but I also know that pretty much any kid will tell you, if you've got two options, it's either playing a mask or don't play at all. I think every single kid's going to choose to play in a mask. So, these kids are resilient. Everyone I've talked to that's done it has said, it takes a couple days to get used to, but after a couple days, it kind of becomes normal. And that's kind of how wearing masks in general has become. I mean, the teachers will tell you, at least myself, it's to the point where I don't even realize I have a mask on anymore because I'm wearing it all the time. So I think eventually it'll become second nature to the kids. And again, it's not an ideal situation, but I know the kids will do whatever they got to do to play. So if that's what we have to do, that's what we'll do.
Yeah, I'm piggyback what Danny says. I was quoted with Joe Morelli last week in an article he posted about the masks. And if it comes down to having our season with masks or no basketball at all, then I 100% support masks as long as they're safe. I know there's been some discussion about whether or not they're safe to play in. That's not for me to decide. Yeah, I listen. We had a fall league game last weekend, and the kids played with the masks, and I really didn't think it affected the game whatsoever. Yeah, they're a little tired and it's a little uncomfortable, and they're not too happy about wearing them. But guys were still playing at a high level, and for me watching the game in the stands, it didn't look any different. In terms of the way they played. So it can be done, and I think it's going to be a 1-year thing, hopefully. And if that means we play basketball, then I'm all for it.
I think everybody was saying with the volleyball too, how you're going to play volleyball with masks on. And you talk to any of the volleyball players now as opposed to 2 months ago, and they would all say, we forget we have them on, and like, kids and the coaches, you guys are going to do anything you can to play within reason, no matter what. If they told if they told you guys you had to shoot blindfolded at the basket, you would find a way to make it work so you shoot blindfolded at the basket. So
yeah, totally. And I mean, I think kids are resilient, and they're going to adapt. And also you don't have to wear the surgical medical masks. There's some nice sports masks that are out there. I know our guys have already ordered some from Under Armour. They look way more comfortable and breathable, and so. Listen, masks are in, they're fashionable, right? So, if we gotta use them to play, then I'm all for
it. I mean, kids have been terrific. I'm gonna write a column later today, next day, just watching what these fall athletes do. Kids are resilient. The kids are good. The kids are smart, and bottom line is they just want to play. And the thing that I love the most about the kids is just how appreciative they were of the opportunity of playing. And that's obviously going to be the case with basketball and all the winter sports and with any of these high school athletes. Since we're agreeing we're going to be optimistic here, and I normally would be doing this in a couple of weeks, and you guys know how much I love covering basketball. Why don't we give people a little bit of a preview of what to expect 2 months from now? What about Ludlowe and New Canaan? Danny, since I don't have Chris Russo here to get the real lowdown on New Canaan basketball, I'm going to have to settle for you. What do we expect from the Rams this year?
Well, I'm not going to be able to do as good of a job giving you the play-by-play like the Mad Dog would, but I think I'm usually a cautiously optimistic guy heading into the season, but I am very, very high on my team this year. I think we've got a great mix of seniors, great senior leadership, and we've got some good young talent to mix in. And just watching them compete so far in the fall league, they have that it factor. Like it's just a great chemistry. We've got good size. We've got good shooters. We've got our point guard coming back this year, Will Bozzella, who missed the entire year last year. I know he's really excited to be back. So, we've got some experience in Leo Magnus and Christian Sweeney who started last year and have played a lot of varsity basketball. So, I'm very high on this team. I think we could be really good, and I'm really looking forward to getting in the gym with them.
John, what about the Falcons?
Well, before I get to the Falcons, yeah, Danny is cautiously optimistic, is put in nicely for his squad every year. But the guy sitting across me from the phone, Danny, right now, they got a hell of a team this year. So hopefully everything works out for him with this pandemic and our season. But as far as Ludlowe goes, listen, I'm not going to lie. I love my team this year, but we graduated at 8 seniors and 5 starters. So I wouldn't say we're quite rebuilding yet. I think that starts to happen next year because I still think we have enough pieces back this year to compete, to win games, to qualify for the postseason in some capacity. Connor Lawler is really an up and coming guard who played some really valuable minutes for us last year. And then we've got some guys that played sparingly last year at the varsity level that are filling into new roles, but we won 17, 18 games last year, had a hell of a year, and they got a taste of that, and they want to keep that going, and they're very confident, and they believe they can do so. We're a little undersized. We're a little banged up right now. We've got 2 of my bigs are both hurt, and honestly, if we were to start December 5th, they would probably miss a month. So this announcement today sort of helps us from an injury standpoint. But yeah, I like our guys. We're always going to be tough, man. That's for sure. We're going to play, and we're going to compete, and we're going to get after it. So it's just about getting these guys comfortable playing at that varsity level now.
I think John made a call into the CIAC knowing that his bigs were going to be out a month and asked them to push it back. I think that's what happened today.
He seemed a little bit happier when we started this about the delay than you did, Danny. I have to say that now in retrospect, we look at it.
I should have known. I should have known there was something behind the scenes.
I got a big who broke his wrist, and he's out for 6 weeks. And I got another big who really rolled his ankle bad a couple of weeks ago, and he's probably not going to be ready till mid-December. So small victory with the announcement today. Very small.
I'm out of the loop a little bit just in terms of when we get started. Who are a couple of the teams that are going to be favored to try to take the title away from Ridgefield, or Ridgefield's chances to repeat? I'm just trying to think back, a little bit to last year, and you guys have seen the fall league and everything. Who are a couple of the favorites?
I'm probably going to leave some people out here, but Danny's team is really top 3 for sure in the league. They've got a lot of guys back, and so well coached, and depth, talent.
See what he's doing, Dave? He's trying to jinx us already.
Yeah. I think Ward with the Davis twins, they're arguably could be the top 2 players in the league. I think they're going to be very good. Ridgefield is always going to be in the mix. I've seen Wilton in the fall. I think they're going to be very good again. And then there's a lot of teams similar to last year that, can beat anybody on any given night. I think Collins got a good team over at Staples. I think St. Joe's has got a couple transfers in. They're going to be competitive again. I know I've talked to Danny about it. He thinks West Hill is going to be very good, a team that probably not a lot of people are going to be talking about. Darien is still a bit young, but I think they're much improved. So the league, top to bottom, again, is very balanced. It's one of the best leagues in the state, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've had a chance to see some teams down our way. As John mentioned, West Hill, I think is going to be one of the better teams this year, and they return a lot from last year, and so I think they're certainly going to take a step up. I think Trumbull is also going to be good with Malik Green.
Yeah,
he's one of the best players in the league. So, as John said, there's no, and this, Dave, you've been covering FCI for a long time, and it's probably more this way now than it used to be. There's no gimmies, there's no, you can't chalk up a win like you used to be able to, back when we played. So it's going to be competitive. It's going to be balanced. And, I think a lot of things will get settled during the season, but that every year we talk about 3 or 4 teams, and then every year 1 or 2 comes out of nowhere and finds its way into the top 4. So I think that could certainly happen again this year, but we're going to be prepared for that.
That's been one of the good things about the league last few years. Parity. You have more teams of comparable ability, and whereas maybe a decade ago you could start a season and check off 4 or 5 games that you knew were wins. Maybe you get 1 or 2 now, but if you get that, you don't get much more than that. So,
Right.
Well, you guys know how much I love covering the basketball as much as you guys like playing it. So this has been fun for me. And while we're talking a little bit about uncertainty, the 2 things that I can say are certain, that my 2 guests here are 2 of the best at what they do, and even more so are 2 of the really, really good guys in the league that I enjoy being with. So John Dailey, Danny Melzer, thanks a lot for taking the time to talk, and you guys stay safe, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys next time on the basketball court.
Yeah, Dave, appreciate all you do, buddy. Right back at you. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, Dave, thanks for having me. Thanks for having John as well. We appreciate your coverage, and we're really, really hoping that we'll be seeing you soon enough.
Danny, next time we see you, though, I know you got this part in the Scorsese movie we haven't been talking about, but would the mustache be gone next time I see you?
It'll be gone December 1st. I've promised my wife that, so I've got to keep to that. But it's for a good cause.
You know what? Before we're teasing you about it, you take a second here and explain the mustache.
So there's a thing called No Shave November. I'm sure most people have heard of it, but it's basically to raise cancer awareness. And our team decided this year to start a team page on No Shave November. And we've raised over $1,000 so far. We've got, a couple more weeks to go. So if it takes me looking like an idiot to raise some money for cancer for a good cause, I'm all for it. So I'm glad to be part of it this year.
Freddie Mercury.
That's right.
I don't know. It looks like an extra in Reservoir Dogs or something. I don't know why. Mr. Red. Rams, so we'll call you Mr. Red. So
that works.
John, Danny, this has been a lot of fun for me. So again, you guys stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you both soon.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
And that's our Ruden Report Zoomcast. Again, I want to thank John Dailey from Fairfield, Ludlowe, and Danny Melzer from New Canaan. And we'll be back again real soon. Everybody stay safe.